Okay, you're going to have to include a quote inside your introduction, and that quote needs to be able to be introduced well and cited correctly. You can do a quote that is a word-for-word phrase, sentence that you have taken from your research material on Crane, or you can do a famous quote, somebody out there who's famous who had something to say about the open boat or Crane. Either way, you're going to introduce it with something called a signal phrase, okay? A signal phrase is a noun and a verb that introduces borrowed material, okay? The noun could be the name of the author, the name of the article, the name of the website, okay? So it could be the author, it could be the title of the article, or it could be the name of the website. You're going to use that as your noun. And then you've got a verb. The verb could be said, asked, stated, recommended, suggested, okay? Some kind of verb that introduces the quote that you're going to say. So I'm going to say asks or says. Now, of course, when you go to do your actual research paper, I expect you to use more, better words than says is what we always use. So I'm expecting you to use something a little bit more advanced than says. But what you've got is you've got the noun, you've got the verb, then you go into the borrowed material. How do you cite this so it's done correctly? You do quotation marks, you do a parenthetical citation after it, but where does that punctuation go? The first punctuation goes after the verb, okay? And the second punctuation goes after the parenthetical citation. Now you guys, as far as grammar punctuation goes, I take off 1 point for every error. I give you 5 free points, and then those 1 points come off, okay? Just take a look at just simply how this is quoted, and you can see that there's punctuation that has to go here correctly, and punctuation that has to go here correctly, and you don't want to lose points there. You want to make sure. I will take off points if you forgot the comma. I will take off points if the period is, let's say, in here instead of on the outside. The parenthetical citation is considered part of the quote. So please make sure you punctuate it correctly. Then the other thing you need to do is that you need to start that quote with a capital letter. Okay? So you've got that capital letter there. You've got that signal phrase that leads up to it, then you've got the quotation, and then the parenthetical citation. Now, how do you cite this parenthetical citation? It's the same order of priority here, okay? If you have the author's last name from your source, take a look at the source you found for Stephen Crane, and if you have an author's name, use the last name. It goes right in there, okay? The next thing you do is if you don't have an author, sometimes you don't, you maybe have a title of a website. You look on the website and there's a title. Not the name of the website, but an actual title. Use that title and put it in quotation marks. If you don't have a title, it's just a website, okay? Then look for the name of the website. By the way, no .com, no .org, okay? Don't include that, okay? I don't need to see it's a .com. I will know it is a website. And the way I know it is because you'll include it in the signal phrase. The website, Crane Anonymous, explained that. You see what I just did, okay? I've got the Crane Anonymous, the name of the website. I've explained it's a website, and then I've got that verb. So you make sure that if it is a website, or maybe you can say the title of the article, if it's the name of the article, or an author who wrote on Stephen Crane. So you don't just need to put the noun and the verb in the signal phrase. You can make it, you can develop it more. When we go into the research paper, I will expect you to develop it more. Right now, since it's your first one off the press, for me in this class, I'm okay if you just keep it a little bit simpler. All right, the other thing is, if you have the word that in there, when you're punctuating, if you choose to say says that takes the place of the comma. You don't need the comma, and you don't need the capital. It's part of a sentence, okay? So if you want to put says, comma, and then you've got this quote, then you're going to do comma and a capital. If you don't want to do the comma, then you replace the comma with that, and you do a small letter because it's just part of the sentence. You're just sticking some copied words inside that. So please learn how to do this. If for some reason what I've explained here still confuses you, you need to do your own research. How to punctuate a quote correctly, how to use the signal phrase before a quote. Just Google that. Find your source and make sure you include this inside of your paper. Now, inside of your introduction to your paper that you're going to be submitting. Now, you guys, you do have to have at least 2 strategies, and when you go to do the review of your person, please make sure that not only do they have 2 strategies inside there, not only have they transitioned well through it, but that they have also cited this correctly with the signal phrase and the parenthetical citation. You want to be able to make sure this has been done correctly.